Communication is kind of an important thing. It's not what I say, it's what you understand. In governments, they don't communicate with people very well. And I want to illustrate that with a little story. You had a husband and a wife. They're driving down the road in California and they saw this sign that said San Jose X number of miles. The husband said, and the wife said, it doesn't say Jose. That's Josie. San Jose is number that many miles. And husband said, that's not right. They drove a little bit more and the same thing happened. And pretty soon they were fighting. It's San Jose. No, it's San Jose. Finally, they pulled up into this town and said, welcome San Jose or San Jose. And the woman jumped out and she ran into a place of business and she yelled at the guy behind the counter, what's the name of this place? He looked at her and put his hands on the bench. He said, Dairy Queen. Mean what you say and say what you mean. And governments do that all of the time. They mess us up, right? And the left has normalized so many things. And with communication, they tell us one thing and then they do another. That's the leaders, the political leaders, the people who are supposed to lead us out of the wilderness. They lead us deeper and deeper into the bush all of the time. The left has normalized closing small businesses, churches censoring conservatives, wearing masks. They declared war on normal people. These are the people that work for you. They declared war on you, particularly if you're a white, male conservative. You've got troubles, right? And they're trying to normalize versus moralize. It's craziness. Political questions should go to all politicians. They always look for the man. They say, I jokingly have said, if I ever ran for office, it would only be so I could find out how many women I slept with 40 years ago, right? And because they seem to go after the man, never the woman to see who she slept with, but they always look for old girlfriends of the men. And it occurred to me that while we shouldn't go into anyone's bedroom, we should know who they hang out with, not necessarily sleep with, but we need to know who influences you. Like, for instance, if a conservative is married to a communist woman, a conservative man, then he's influenced by her. And if all of his friends are communists and he still says he's conservative, he's influenced. Hey, that's not right, wrong, or indifferent. That's information that you need when you're making a decision in the voting booth, right? And so you need to know, are you gay, are you transgender, are you married, why? You know, do your associations influence your governance? If your wife has a boyfriend who's a communist, maybe his beliefs get to the leader of a nation. And if you're prime minister and you bat for the other team, maybe you hang out with people from the other team, and any voters should know that so they can make the decisions. Like, your influence, is it just you that's doing all of this decision making, or the decision making stuff, things coming from influences from other people, just sharing? Hey, black conservatives in Canada, they've been energized recently with, they had a rising star, a black lady who ran for the conservative leadership, and now they put together the black conservative group, right? That is so wrong. It's just so wrong. Let's do a white conservative group now. Should we? Of course not. If we did, you'd have an uproar. It's okay to do it if you're a different color than white, because people don't like white people that much these days. But it's just wrong. Either you're a conservative or you're not. Why do you have to say you're white or black? This color business makes me crazy. I didn't know I was a racist until the prime minister told me. And then you have the gun business in Canada. It'll be the same everywhere with regards to their budget. They say that they're going to do a buyback program, and it'll cost, if they say $1 billion, it'll cost $20 billion. It'll be like the long gun registry. It's totally out of control. This has been shown again with trees. Trudeau, the prime mistake, he came out a while ago and said, I'm going to plant 2 billion trees. Who talks like that? 2 billion trees. I mean, really? And now the cost is coming in. Well, firstly, they delayed it, and he said, oops, maybe not so fast. These aren't trees that we need for firewood or for beauty. These are trees for climate control, right? And a climate change, which I've always said, I'm waiting. I want climate change. It's too bloody cold in Alberta and Saskatchewan and other places, Ontario too, and now he's like billions of dollars over budget to plant these trees, and I don't even think they've planted any yet. Guns, back to that quickly. The Liberals, they don't want any guns anyway, but that's heaven. Conservatives want guns because on earth it can be hell. Heaven and hell. Liberal and conservatives go to heaven and liberals go to hell. Sorry, Mom, I just kind of flowed, it just felt good. That's all. And speaking of guns, I have a friend of mine, a good friend, who owns a company. He's a boutique gun manufacturer in the US of A. Cabot Guns. Look him up. If you want a gun, but you don't want a gun, go to Rob's website, Cabot Guns. If you don't want a gun, that's because he does such a fantastic job that he has a waiting list up to 18 to 24 months. So you got to put your deposit in now, and it's only 1911 firearms and handguns. They do a fantastic job. I bought 2 guns from Rob, and again, he's a friend, and it's just an interesting website to go have a look. Swinging back now to governments. I got to keep on going here. Governments are in trouble. One of the pieces, of course, is money, because they don't have any. Finances are just not sustainable with all these fiscal gaps of the government. Either needs to raise more money for the citizenry or cut spending, and they're too stupid to cut spending, and they need to sort it out, but they don't have the brain power to do that. So they're a bunch of pickleheads and racists. I wanted to share that story today with a little name calling to all of those elected people. Pickleheads and racists. It kind of flows for me. And then you run into the prime mistake in Canada. He doesn't know if he found a rope or lost a horse. Hey, y'all, come back here tomorrow. We're going to have more for you from the right. And seriously, we need solutions, which means you got to vote right. And you got to get involved, because things are a mess. See ya.